Hey, it's Tuesday, and it's Trekland HQ, and we are live. Yeah. How do you Star Trek in the quiet times? Yep, it's Trekland Tuesdays, number 421, with me, Dr. Trek Larry Nemechek, coming at you here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47, and yes, Trekland Treks, your customized away missions to actual Star Trek location sites here up and down the greater width of Southern California. Love to set one of those up with you in advance. And also the partial home of next year celebrating the 60th. We are finally back after 10 years with Geek Nation Tours and the LA to Vegas location multi-day tour the week before Las Vegas. Don't have to go to the big Trek convention, but that's the timing of it, all right? You want to check that out at geeknationtours.com, or there's a link at larrynemechek.com. And it is another Tuesday here at Trekland Tuesdays Live. I've got to say, kind of the quiet times here, right? That's what, when there's nothing else happening, you talk about how there's nothing else happening. And I can't let you down. We've got to have Tuesday Trekland here. We've been doing this since 2017. So welcome, everybody. Look, it's been an interesting time, not totally quiet. I've been doing a little bit more podcast guesting and in some new places. Want to thank Sean over at Trek Culture for having me on. Actually having Terrace Cassidy and I from Geek Nation Tours on to talk about the big tour, but also talk Trek in the way that they do over at Trek Culture. A lot of fun with Sean. There's some others coming up too. But it has been kind of a quiet time. You know what I mean. So look, if you are new to Trekland Tuesdays Live, thank you for dropping by. Glad you're here with us. Number one, you want to sound off in the chat because we've got a great TTL community. We're actually quasi on time today. Quasi. So I'm throwing everybody. But everybody's here. You want to say hi to folks and let us know where you are around the world, because that's why I do it at this time. Not just prime time the US, but this is prime time for most of the world. And I know it's midday in America, but a lot of folks still find a way to join us, or they're lurking from work or whatever. But I love having the worldwide aspect here, just the same as I love having our Europeans and globalists in Portal 47. But here we are out front and public, and everybody's chiming in. So yeah, if you're new to Trekland Tuesdays Live, jump in, introduce yourself. And here's the deal. Every week I have a topic or a guest. So my little soapbox here is going to be something one week or the other. And when we do that, we jump into the chat when I'm done. The chat guest tends to be all along, as you'd think. And a week like tonight, a normal week, is I will not ignore people. We'll jump back around. I will back scroll. We have a needle to back scroll and see what everybody's saying and doing. But meanwhile, until we get there, jump in, introduce yourself. Let us know, how's the weather where you are? How's the Trek where you are? What's happening in your neck of the Trek woods and the fan woods, okay? Because here's the deal also. I hope you're coming to us on YouTube. It's what I've been promoting most lately. Because in YouTube, you will see all the comments from all the platforms. Twitch will be the same thing. Facebook's only going to see Facebook. So just to say. Also, if you're in YouTube and you are so motivated, I always appreciate it if you can throw in a little on the super chat. You can actually hit the button and throw a little cash our way. It adds up. It helps out, everybody. It does help out. I only have Patreon helping support the streaming side of Trekland these days. And, the hosting and everything, the little costs kind of creep up there. So I do appreciate it. If you are not a candidate for something more down the line, I'll tell you about in a little bit after we've done the main show. But Super Chat is a thing. It still is. And I appreciate it very much so. I just appreciate everybody being here, though, especially in a time like this. And I say that, I don't know if we're all feeling, I try not to talk about this too much because it's in our face. It's in the air. We've gone from a lot of overarching Trek topics of all levels, everything from what's coming up on the next show and why, to who's running Paramount, to what the hell is streaming anyway? Is it any good? There's so many Trek and Trek adjacent things to keep up with these days, besides just, I don't know, the shows, the plots, the characters, the canon, the ship porn, you name it. What our past and present celebs are doing, it's all part of Trek fandom. And it does just feel like a little bit of a lull. Now, I say that as in saying that the Khan audio drama, don't just call it a podcast. It's an incredibly well produced, well made. I say slickly made, and I mean that in a good way. With the original score, sound effects, they're wombling on down to the end of their 9 episodes. I think 7 dropped this week. We'll talk about that when it's all out there, said and done. A lot of folks are enjoying being pleasantly surprised by the quality. That's although look at who's writing it. It comes from Nick Meyer's story. It's David Mack there and Kirsten Beyer. But it's very well produced. I said a few weeks ago, why not be canon? It's canon in a vacuum until something else comes along. It's out there, and I know that, but it's not like having a weekly show. It's not like having some of the Sturm and Drang of the Paramount sale or the writers' strikes or whatever's going, or more Trek on screen than we can keep up with. It is. It's one of those kind. Excuse me. Don't let me forget. Yes, the Scouts are out there. The Scouts are there too. They've added another episode. Is Finn their new little... I mean, in a 4-minute episode, you can only pack so much in. And I hope everyone's gotten over themselves about worrying if it's canon or not. It's a kid's show from the future. If it's a 23rd century or 24th century kids show for 24th century kids, I mean, it's ridiculous because it's 2-dimensional. If it's entertainment for young people in that time, it'll be holographic. At the least. I know. But here's the adaptation for our screen, right? So I can put Star Trek Scouts in that box, and just be happy that deltas and terms like asteroid, Vulcan, Targ, those kinds of things, even though it's kind of wacky, it's a juvenile cartoon. And some of that is permeating 3-year-old and 4-year-olds' consciousness. That's all we need. Just let's get off of our hyperness, okay? Again, it's Star Trek Scouts. It's not Starfleet Scouts as was originally conceived of. So, and it's there. It's fun. It's 4 minutes every week or two. Gradually enough, they'll be to have their own channel without having to pack in a big hour-long program with some of the other animation on that same channel, the Monster Machines and all that. So it's not like it's completely dead. Khan is incredible. I'll talk about that when it's run. I'll do a second opinion when it's finished its run, I think. But my question this week is, how do you Star Trek in the quiet times? Do you do what you've always done? Do you just go back to the catalog? Do you just enjoy your TNGs, DS9s, Enterprises, Voyagers, the original series? Are you at some point, if you were never a TOS fan, it's the 60s, are you going to at some point sit down and watch it maybe with some modern eyes, especially after where the world has gone the last year or two? Because time passing is the greatest thing. Aging / time passing outside is the greatest way to catch a whole new point of view on things that you thought were too old, too creaky, too slow, too dated. Sometimes you see the timelessness of something. And as I say, original series, I get it that people, especially fresher eyes, younger eyes, have a hard time watching the original series. I just wish I could give you a sampler of what else was on TV at the same time. There's a reason that show stuck with people for 20 and 30 years, 20 years before there was ever anything else. And I'm not counting the movies, because the movies were features. People didn't stop watching the original series just because the Kirk era movies were coming, nor did they stop watching because of Next Generation and all the Berman era unfolding. Just saying. At the same token, I feel the real need to sit down and start doing a Discovery rewatch, talking about how the passage of time alters our perception, point of view. Yeah, really want to do that at some point. But, that's very passive. That's you and a screen. or you and one or two loved ones and a screen. I don't know. It is quieter times. Now look, we're heading into Halloween. We're heading, which is the original holiday season for so many folks. All you cosplay adjacent, makeup adjacent, Goonie. I totally get it. It's in the family. I know. The best time of year is Halloween for a lot of folks. So I know things are ramping up and getting crazy busy. And look at us. We're here 10 days away. And then, the traditional. I know Canada, you've had your Thanksgiving already, but here in the States, it'll be that. And then for a lot of the world, the Christian world and the Christian adjacent world who give gifts, then you've got the end of and our Jewish friends. I'm not trying to rule anybody out. December tends to be the big distraction month, whatever you celebrate, whatever your flavor is. And the end of the year, the Gregorian calendar, your New Year's. So on one hand, it's a good time to be a little down. And we know that Academy, things are going to ramp up in January. The world will all be talking, debating, criticizing, defending, celebrating, yawning, whatever tack it takes. Academy will finally be here in January and keep us occupied for 10 weeks. So if there's not a lot of Star Trek happening, and those who have the bandwidth still are enjoying con, okay, fine. So much the better. Well, here's one thing you can do if it's been a slow time for you and you're wondering about, something else to peck you up. I'm just boosting signal here. Can I do this? Yeah. Doug Drexler's documentary, right? Trek Star. Look at this. They started yesterday. Their goal is a very humble 165,000. And they've got 58,000. So they're over a third of the way, bearing down on halfway there, 2 days in out of their month. So I just want to give a shout out. We're going to have Doug on the Trek Files coming up in our run of guests. And all we can do to help out Doug and director Jason Smith is a good thing, because he's recording a lot about, in living his life, he's recording a lot about Trek history, but also, everything else he's worked on. Galactica, the movies, the Dick Tracy, just the life of the 70s as a fan, and into the 80s, into the 90s, into today as a fan pro, and bridging that, and how much fun, and the incredible lineup of people he's worked with and known. So big shout out there to Doug. Trek Star, you can check it. It's a legit Kickstarter. So yeah, just Google Doug Drexler Kickstarter, and it'll pop up. I urge everybody to jump over and get there. And it's a healthy bunch. They're bearing down on 60,000 out of 165. So closing in 3/8, closing in on half. That's awesome. That's awesome. And there's a lot of material. There's a lot of good clips and video and sneak peeks. And Doug's crazy guy anyway, who will share and passionate as long as the day is long. And no better person deserves. And his memoirs are coming next year, as a matter of fact, which were in the works before the documentary and weren't part of the same project altogether. So there's that. But there's that kind of activity is happening in and around. And I mentioned the holidays. If you're of a gift-giving mood, it's October. There's a lot of cool licensees. There's a lot of Etsy makers. There's fan artists. I mean, without such a dominant Star Trek machinery behind the studio walls, and with so much at Paramount kind of in flux, but just the way things have evolved. When the internet first came along, the studio lawyers were very verklempt about images online. There was a time when Johnny Carson would have guests on The Tonight Show, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they had that old phrase, if somebody came over from a CBS or an ABC thing, from a series or a special to plug, they would always say, and from another network, which will be seen on another network. And they would never outright promote it, although if they were on The Tonight Show, they were a big enough star that people are going to know what's going on. It was kind of ridiculous. And I flash forward that same attitude to early internet, when the Paramount lawyers shut down fans collecting film clips, much to the chagrin, much to the consternation and horror of the studio's StarTrek.com site, because they didn't want to be tarred with the fan backlash. Every time there's a tip of the spear new cultural tech wave, it makes the attorneys nervous, and the creatives are out there going, yay, yay, yay. And you see that time that happened with fan films, go on down the line. But it's kind of there with the cosplay, 3D printing, and all of that. I feel like, though, we've kind of gotten to a place where there's kind of an equilibrium here. I'm saying all this because if you look at what there is available, we complain about the lack of licensed cool stuff. There is some out there, and yay on Brian Volk-Weiss and what Nacelle's doing with action figures, on top of the cool companies that are doing incredible figures, but very limited ones. And Brian's stepping back into the old Playmates line there of fan favorites that are affordable, that people can get more than one a year, and also filling the niche of figures you've never seen before. People that are characters that are long overdue, even guises that are long overdue. So that's a starting point. Sure, I will plug Brian and Nacelle's action figure line till the day is done, but there's a lot of individual going on too. So you see the artist folks are online. We've got such a maker's artisan culture now across the board. And then when you narrow it down to the Star Trek frame, people getting involved, people getting their toe in as a creative, as an artist, but also just serving a fan market and serving a fan base. Yeah, it's actually pretty diverse that way, and maybe at an equilibrium where right now, where somebody may have something to counter me here, a story, but maybe somewhere where the artists, where the attorneys with the IP aren't so trigger happy, because they know that there's all these niches, there's all this demand for product and art that can't be filled officially. So what are you going to do? Shut people down and then give people nothing? You're going to create that ill will, that negativity? There's the great old story of the daycare in Iowa that got turned into Disney because they had painted Disney characters in the daycare room, and Disney sent them a cease and desist letter. I think a local paper had come. And so they got to see it when that appeared in the news as a story of Disney shutting them down. Warner Brothers sent them a letter and said, sorry to hear about this. Would you like to have Bugs and Daffy and Scooby-Doo and on down the line of the old Hanna-Barbera or DC, all of our catalog? We'd be happy to send out studio artists to replace your lost characters on your walls. So, duh, they were able to take that, piggyback that story, get all the goodwill out of it, all the great PR, and do a ha-ha at Disney's analysts. So, these things have a flip-flop. I don't know. I'm just saying there's more than one way to look at this. And as the world evolves and we get used to these tip of the spear, I say technologies, but sometimes it's just cultural ripples. As we get used to them, the antsiness goes away. Now, the late night talk show hosts just say ABC or CBS or Fox or whatever 47 million different cable streaming platforms a show could be on. It's kind of pointless. It's kind of ridiculous. And down the line. So yeah, a lot of these makers on Etsy and otherwise are out there with some cool stuff. Fan artists are out there with some really incredible work. And they're still out there invisible. And sometimes these makers and artists and creatives drift in to a world where they can actually make money for their talent and their creativity and their vision, which is the way it ought to be. It's kind of the way things have always been. It's just, what are the specific channels? And when something becomes too techy and new and hot, it just, those poor attorneys, they're trying to protect their IP. They're trying to do their job. But sometimes the world has to adjust. We have to go through phases. Not quite unlike Galileo and Copernicus out there sticking up for a heliocentric universe, not an Earth-based universe. So I don't know. It's the quiet times, and yet fans, you and me, are filling our time with events like this. I've said this before, though. How many folks take these quiet days, these less impactful days, and I mean quiet in Trek? The world, unfortunately, is full of sound and fury. A lot of times it's not signifying nothing. It's something to deal with. One thing about having quiet Trek is maybe you can go deal with what's going on in the world the way you'd like to. Another thing that's happened, and we said this before, kind of before the big Trek, the peak Trek wave with peak TV happened. Is this a time when you look around you and of the newer friends you've met or old friends you've had for ages, do you look around to see who you might convert? Do you look around to see who you might introduce to Trek, who you might go evangelize to in a helpful way, not in an obnoxious way? Is there anybody in your circle or circle adjacent that might deal with a nice night of binging Trek? And with our shifting attitude about not just the Berman years, but with the Kurtzman era too, with the Secret Hideout era, because they're all over the map as far as what you can't lump. One thing I will say about fan debate, anyone who tries to lump every single, you try to lump Lower Decks in with Discovery, I don't think so. Whatever qualms you have about any individual series, these are not all of a feather, because they've all wound up being made by different showrunners at different times. So, do you evangelize yourself? Do you go back and give something a second chance? Or is this a time when you just reach out to sit back, and maybe it's the way you recharge? We talked a few weeks ago about, is it escapism or is it therapy? Do you just go stick your head in the ground with Star Trek, or does it give you the ability to keep going? And maybe there's other people in your circle who would appreciate that same thing. You take that attitude, you take that inclination and reflect it outward. I don't know. I know that we're in a very transitional time. I mean, the world at large is. And then Star Trek is too. Obviously, the new people finally are in place at Paramount. Where exactly are they going to fall? What exactly are they going to do next? Will they renew Alex's contract? Will somebody else come in another year's time? We have a year to go until then, with product yet to be seen. 16 hours of Strange New, 20 hours of Academy, all over the next year and a half. And again, will anybody be hired to replace? Will somebody be signed to showrun the Empire after that, or will that be given a pause while there's a focus on films? I know we say this till we're blue in the face. It's just time's going to have to pass. And as my third grade teacher said, when someone say, "I wish it was Christmas," Mrs. Bergner would say, "You're wishing your life away." I am not wishing my life away to get through these 36 hours of remaining Trek. I just know that it's one of those times when you can peek around the corner. You can see what's on the horizon. You can't help but wonder about that, especially when none of these remaining 36 hours are in our face right now. This perspective will change with the coming of a new year. I hope some things might be a little bit differently viewed and perspectivized, but if nothing else, finally Academy will be out and we'll see how we stand on it. But right now, is this a time to focus on other things, or is it a time to take stock and be quiet with your Trek in different ways? Or maybe reach out for other folks. I feel like next year, obviously it's the 60th. People are so not bored right now. People are laying low, recharging, re-energizing. Apparently the 60th is going to be a much bigger deal, and I'm comparing it to the 50th purely on numbers. I should get in line with the folks who see it as, it's been 10 years since we had a huge party. We should do it. So who am I to get in the way of a party? So yay, go for it. Especially in a year when things are going to be in transition, to have to have some good old touchstones and foundations to lean on will be great. And not just about the original series. And, maybe it'll be cause for a refresh. Maybe for half a generation that just automatically wrote off the original series. Maybe for that half a generation, maybe generation by now, that wrote off the original series, maybe it'll be a time to refresh and get in the context of the 60s and get in the context of when there had been no Star Trek before. How revolutionary was this little series that broke the mold? It's so easy in hindsight to go, oh yeah, it led to everything that came later. It broke the mold. Well, why? Why did it reach out and grab people? People who lived in a troubling time, people who thought they had existential threats to deal with, whether it was Vietnam and the draft, or pollution, or civil rights, women's rights of folks who weren't even uttered in public at the time, and pollution, and go down the list. War and peace, economic instability. Yeah. What was it about this show that grabbed people by the lip? And it was an activist time that people were already protesting other things. They felt very activist and Star Trek breaking the mold for everything in pop culture, from fan ownership to telling the makers what they wanted to see, and then demanding that a dead little show come back and not go away. You're just measuring wrong. You obviously missed the boat about what's popular and not, powers that be. And kickstarting the way, little K, kickstarting this whole fan ownership genre media. It's not the kids, the nerd kids in the closet. They're coming out, and then Star Wars. Star Trek begat Star Wars. And then we're off to the races. Maybe it will be a year celebrating the 60th that becomes a reexamination of some of those attitudes by fresher eyes and younger eyes. Maybe that'll be a mission that somebody undertakes. Maybe somebody will find a way to do a YouTube show or an hour and a half documentary. No, I'm not vague-splaining here. I'm literally brainstorming on camera, and I'm just thinking, if I don't have the bandwidth for that, I wish somebody would take that on. Maybe some of these podcasts where we have the format is an oldster and a younger person, whether they're related or not. And no, I'm not talking about Cadet Alice. We just have fun. I'm talking about really where the spotlight is on older and younger eyes rewatching older series. Something of that tone, only in a packaged, edited way. I don't know. Maybe that would get some new, as we look at maybe the last big anniversary where we have the last of the folks from the original series and the first generation with us to talk about it firsthand. Maybe it's time for that. Maybe somebody out there will get on that bandwagon. So I don't know. How do you Star Trek in the quiet times again? Like now. I had just a simple look around. It's a simple time. I guess I should ask the question, are you doing Trek for Halloween? For your legitimate cosplay, for your mundane mainstream cosplay day? Yeah. Maybe that'll be next week. But for right now, that's my question. How do you Star Trek in the quiet times? So, hey, look, if you're watching this later on YouTube, great. Please keep up the conversation. Answer the question. Go there, would you, in the comments below? And maybe you could watch us live on a Tuesday. It would be great if you could sometime jump in on YouTube and join us on live at 1-ish Pacific, 4-ish Eastern. That's 9-ish UK time, 10-ish Central Europe, except for the overlap week that's coming up next. I know. Yeah. And if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things, would you? And share us around. Love that. I did get into YouTube late. It started off just being the free server for your blog videos. And here we are today, 15 years later. Yeesh. That's scary to talk about. But thanks if you're watching us later. Please sound off and do. And look, if you're with us live, hang on, I'm going to be back wading through the chat. I can't wait to see if I actually spark some questions and some comments, and we'll see what's going on with everybody in just a second. But if you are leaving us now on YouTube, please come back, subscribe, check out everything at Trekland, and most of all, would you just give out a shout out to all of these folks before we leave? These are my Patreons, and I want to thank our TTLers, our Trekland Tuesday livers. So yeah, thanks to Chuck A., James Kerwin, Diana Hopkins, Albert Gunjonson, Lawrence Todd, Chris Jiggins, Mitch Keith Rombach, Josh Patton, Pranakasha Productions, and Comedy Forecast. And then our live wires. Hey, that's J.R. Poole, Gary Williams, Robert McLean, Byron Bailey, Donna S. Runyon, Brandon Coles, Dave Gregory, Jesse at Crusher Convo, Chris Garris, and Casey Shafsky. What are the TTLers and the live wires? That's my very, very simple Patreon terms for our $5 people a month and our $10 a month people. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. It's a shout out. And yes, I know I never did fix the link to the old interviews. I need to do that. It's a quiet time. I'll try to get on that this week. Quiet in most of the ways, I should say. Otherwise, what else is today? Well, it's a Tuesday twofer. And you guys know that means the Trek Files is up new. Boy, we had a fun one this week. What was the fun one this week? We found a writer for Next Generation who you don't know because he never had a script produced. But he was there in the first year, in the Chaos on the Bridge year. Cash Edwards sold a story that was not produced. He pitched another one that they loved and still yet didn't make because it was too expensive. It's just kind of a fast. I'm so glad he's with us to talk about it. He was a good friend of Herb Wright, who is another one of those early instigators on Next Gen that we didn't get to know. I met him a couple of times, didn't get to interview him. It's just a really, really obscure week. Obscure and fascinating, I want to say, to hear about that window of 1986-87 again from someone who you do not know and has no IMDb screen credit with Star Trek and yet can talk on and on and on about it. That's the Trek Files this week, right? At thetrekfiles.com. Also where fine podcasts are sold, but trekfiles.com will get you the documents of the week, which we're the only podcast with paperwork. Yay. With homework, I should say. Yeah. Otherwise, gang, you know where to find me around the socials, right? Larry Nemechek is Twitter, Blue Sky, also our, YouTube again, but also on Instagram and Facebook. And portal47.net if you are really ready to dive in with me and go backstage. We've got Portales in the chat room here from around the world as well. You want to look at portal47.net. And of course, I mentioned the tours once again. You want to take a day tour when you're in LA, that's your treklandtreks.com or LarryNemechek.com will get you there too. If you're looking for a big multi-day tour and you've heard about these, we haven't done one in 10 years. It's back for the 60th, the week before Vegas. We will get you there. You don't have to go to the con. You could stay for a day and see people and then take off. But that's how it's structured. The end of July, first part of August next year. Check it out. Celebrities and more to be announced. GeekNationTours.com. And I guess that's going to do it for us here, live edition. So, again, we'll see you next Tuesday. Try to catch us live if you can. And most of all, stay safe out there. Stay healthy, do all the things. Stay woke, check your sources. Oh my God, it's getting thick. Come on, stay rational. And truck well, everybody. Okay, a lot of folks. A lot of folks in here. Did I throw everybody by actually being quasi on time? I know that's a interesting term I've developed, right? Interesting smell, interesting term. Let's see how everybody's doing. Okay. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed Terrace and I on Trek Culture with Sean. We lost another co-host. His co-host Tom couldn't make it. I guess we were too rabble-rousy for Ellie to be part of that format. And look for some more of those coming up. We're going to get around to spread the word about the tour coming along. We need 11 to make, by the way, the big tour next year. And it's multi-day. It's an expensive price tag. But if you want to celebrate the 60, we had 23 go on the 50th when we added a whole San Francisco. Only time we've ever done that. Did a full San Francisco tour as a part one and then came to LA. So we could get to Vegas. Meanwhile, look who's here. Christoph is, of course, here, always first in the gate, first in the room. Joel, good to see you. Foz, you have been coming on kind of strong the last few weeks, but I'm glad to see you there. My figure is here. Yay, yay. Make a good quick quote of me. Find a good one. I appreciate that, Joel. You go somewhere where 12,000 people see you finally. It's kind of nice. What are you doing? You're currently sitting in a parking lot at a grocery store waiting on your wife, remembering that you were live, so I had to jump on. Well, you're amazing, my figure. You are amazing. Thank you for that devotion. As silly as it is. No, I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. Don't forget the milk. Yeah. Well, thank you. I will pass that along. Yeah, Terrace stays too quiet. Terrace is really, he called his company Geek Nation Tours for a reason. But when I first met him, he had like military buzz cut. And since pandemic, he's let his hair go wacky. Or maybe I met him in a weird time 10 years ago. I don't know. Sean, I appreciate that. As always. Be suspicious of 5 glasses for 4 people. My figure. I can't call you. Excuse me. I can't call you Ed after all this time. And it's raining in Ohio. There we go. I always wondered where you were, actually, but there you go. Hope that didn't unleash the stalkers. People ups and downs walking every inch of Ohio now looking for you. Well, it's a cookies and milk kind of week, isn't it? It feels like it. Okay. We'll see you in a few, Ed in Ohio. Hey, Roman. Good to see you again, man. Coming in from Ireland. Have I been Drexlered? Actually, we have Doug coming on the Trek Files before his Kickstarter is done, so pay attention to that. Actually, Doug was like the 2nd or 3rd season of the Trek Files. He was one of the first ones I wanted to get in to do that format. And I was just realizing, I think when I had my 300th show here, Doug was a guest on Tuesdays Live. I just have known him since I was first working on the companion book and finally got to meet that guy from New York whose name was on the medical reference and the giant poster book and. Part of the original New York Star Trek Mafia. Doug and Jeff and all those guys and gals. Let's see. Mona, hi, you're here. Yes, indeedy. Dave, good to see you, obviously. Well, Mona, it won't take much time, Scouts. There's 5 of them now. 5, I think. 5, they're all like 4 minutes apiece. Well, Christoph, you beat me to it in the chat, but I got there right after you. Great minds think alike, Christoph. Boom. Yeah. Here's a vote for Khan. Okay, Mona. And yes, you have a lifelong mission to catch up, going backwards through the Trek Files. Dave, you're answering my question. You try to just go back to the catalog. Just keep yourself fresh. But in this case, introduce someone else to it. Aha! Or you're watching the series he hasn't watched. TAS, Discovery. There you go. There you go. Serve the friend. Yeah. Khan is fabulous. Too bad it wasn't done as a live action. It's really, that's probably a compromise with the way the winds were blowing. Ah, there you go, Mona. Good idea to rewatch Discovery with Academy coming up. I guess just maybe season 3, 4, and 5, though, huh? Oh, wow, Dave. You've got 3 more cons to go this year. Oh, yeah, I'm not trying to write the year off for anybody. Halloween is just dress rehearsal. There you go. Oh, well, is one of them Chicago? There you go. Ronan. Oh, Ronan, have you met Doug? Have you watched him? I yearn to have the energy and the positivity that Doug has. Although it's not a contest. I'm not trying to win anything here, but I appreciate that. I had somebody the other day tell me that I didn't say thank you. I mean, I did, but not. I thought it was fine in a realistic way. Wasn't trying to not be thankful, just trying to be realistic, you know. So thank you for that. Sydney, you're here. Able to have that full-time job now and still join us at times. There you go. You can get a swath of the TNG star curtain on the Trek Star Kickstarter. You can like the velvet silver drape that was outside the 10 forward windows and maybe even the front view screen. There you go. Okay, thank you again, Christoph. Was this after I mentioned it? There's the link. Now, what are you saying here? 8 episodes of Strange New or an entire 4K remaster of DS9 and Voyager. You know which one you want. Could release it weekly, even if you got 5% of the ratings, would end up with more overall. You saying that if they remastered DS9 Voyager, they could resyndicate and grow the price and work back the cost? The way the TNG was financed. The TNG remaster was there. Mona, if I was on Mission Log, no, I think Mission Log is on hiatus until Starfleet Academy. Check me on that. I thought 2 weeks ago was their last live for a while, I think. Chuck, thank you again. Thanks for being a Patreon again, Chuck, and for bopping in. Oh, thank you, Christoph. Okay, it's a shorty. Foz, I'm home. There you go. Yes, thanks. So, Sean, what are you saying here? Maybe you shouldn't read into it too much, but no Trek Bridge for Horror Nights this year. Did they have a Trek Bridge last year? Not the fan in the spring, but the Horror Night. There was a Trek component for Horror Nights? Well, because you may be overlapping. Where there was a Star Trek was the Fan Fest, which is the spring, and that has not been announced at all, as far as including Trek or not. So we'll see. Well, I thank you. Absolutely agree that you love a lot of the Etsy artists that are out there, trying your best to boost as many of their signals as possible. Well, there's no better signal booster than you, Ed. I wish you hadn't told me now. I see. I just like calling you my figure. Go figure, my figure. A big, plushy toddler form Murph. But Etsy and eBay are still letting you down. I know, and I worry. I mean, fandom's still fandom. It doesn't have to deal with absolute numbers. But not having active Prodigy is going to hurt that. It's I have a memory. When the world is Trek quiet, trademark, hashtag Trek quiet, you try to keep the conversation going. There may not be news, but there can always be conversation. Perfect way to put it. Well, what do you think we did for the 12 years of I know there were 3 movies, but 12 years of no small screen adventures, you know? Hey, Zahir, but sadly true. There's nothing good about no new Trek coming out. Aside from maybe you get you get a catch-up time, right? You can revisit. What are you saying, Zahir? You feel like among people who haven't tried Trek, there's still the perception it's too nerdy or dorky, and you have to love a Trekkie to ever be open-minded, even be open-minded. Do you think there's a perception that it might be relevant, but that it's just too overwhelming? I have to stop and remember that they look at that people love to say, oh, it's 937 hours of Trek or episodes, and that's not something to celebrate. For some people, that's intimidating. It's like, I feel like I'm drowning in Trek. I can never penetrate it. And where do I, unless you have a Trek fan to take you by the hand and guide you through to the other side and pick something to start with. And people have those fan debates about, what do you do with a newbie? Where do you start them? And that's cool. Those are all cool conversations. It's a lot more complicated than it was the last time I used to think about introducing a newbie. Yep, they had Moopsy, got one of those, and you eBayed. Oh, I'm just curious, Joel, how much was the New York Comic Con dog style Murph? You mean like that one? That's what that was. The New York Comic Con from 3 years ago. Yeah. Thanks once again, Anne Marie. You look at Star Trek as motivation. There's always a lesson to be learned if you just have to find it. Totally true. Sydney, both escape and therapy for you. Hey, Brandon. Oh my God, this is scary. You're watching me on your big screen? Do all my paint line, does my makeup, does my joint with my prosthetic on my ears look okay? Can you see all the flaws of the set? All the painting grain lines? Can you see all the in-jokes on my acoutrograms? Yikes. That's just wild. Wild. Although I did sit down and watch Cadet Alice once on our big screen, which I don't even think about, but because I'm sitting here watching in my restream, my little monitor is literally this big on my screen, on my iMac restream monitor window. So there, I haven't scared you away yet, Brandon. So anyway, good to have you. Good to have you there. Hey, Jerry, it's been a while, but always nice to have you here with us. My figure says if there's ever anyone that isn't grabbed by Star Trek because they're living in a troubled time, it's because they're out fighting during those troubled times for better times. I hope so, unless it's somebody who needs a little more attitude adjustment than what even Star Trek can do. Or maybe they need a phase one, maybe they need a warm up before they're ready for Star Trek. I don't know. I say that. I should never knock the power of Star Trek to reach out and affect. It's got to be maybe the right series, the right moment, the right era, the right character. But never underestimate the power to Star Trek to move, to change people for the better, to move people, to open eyes, all on its own. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, Glenn. Not really therapy per se, more like Gestalt. Okay, well, Gestalt therapy. Oh, Christoph, happy Back to the Future Day. Oh my gosh, that's right. That's right. Well, wait, you are October 22nd now, correct? That's right. That's where we get this. 10 years past the day, 30 years in Marty's and our future from 1985. Great Scott! Yes, indeed. Those days, it's like the Jupiter 2 launch in Lost in Space. Those days in the future. It's like the eugenics wars. Hey, Carl. Good to see you, man. Why won't you go? There we go. Programs. I hope I'm a highly rated program. What does my Nielsen say about me? Yeah. Rose is here. Yes. Good afternoon. Good evening, Europe and the UK. Of course. Well, yeah, Carl. I mean, that's the traditional, right? You always just go back to your friends. Hopefully everybody still has friends. We did get through the pandemic, right? We all did find our old friends and make some new ones since. Online fandom didn't wipe out the need for clubs and conventions. It just heightened why they're special, I think. You can get a lot of business done online, but still save the humans and the human connecting for clubs, for conventions, for meetups and events. Thank God. Thank God. But Sean says, during quiet times, you have your Trek review show every Wednesday. You're on Trek Masters quiz this Saturday. And in between that, watching whatever York found out this week about props. Yeah, there you go. Zahir, in the quiet times, you resort to randomly dropping deep cut lines and references with friends and seeing who picks them up. Yes, because it's a big galaxy, Mr. Scott. Oh, okay. Is this a UK thing? Am I missing something? It sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know that I know exactly. Excuse me. No editorial comment there, especially when it's Christian. Galjo, are you a first timer here with us on Tuesday, Christian? Or maybe a lurker popping up? Either way, glad to have you. You're going to be rewatching a lot of old Trek till Academy starts. You're in Denmark, and you have all Trek released. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad you found your way here, man. Why can I not click? Let's see. What? Oh, Sophia. Yeah, Sophia, you're in Portugal. It's kind of a... Surely there's got to be one other Trek fan in the entire country, right? Can you, like, in the old days, put out a classified ad? Can you put out a signal? Can you put out a warp signal somewhere, like a bat signal? Trek fans meet up here. I forget if you said you were in or near Lisbon or out further in the country somewhere or on the coast or something, Sophia. But I have to think there's more than one Trek fan in all of Portugal after 60 years. I have to think, in a global internet. Hey, Sean. No, this was the tour next year's not doing a San Francisco. If we had a huge demand, we would think about programming that, but we're just doing good to get an LA going again. Although I don't know, the 6-0 fever might take, but as of now, no, there's no plan to we've only done the one in 2016 for the 50th. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep reading. Not in good shape since the Bell riots. Well, yeah. And the fact that people would dress up in silly inflatable costumes. Ira, Robbie, Wolfie. There's such a lack of vision there. Why didn't they get the inflatable costumes right? There you go. One up for Doug's Kickstarter. Yeah. Sean, has Drexler let me hold his Oscar? Heard he likes all of his male friends to give it a fondle. I'm trying to think. The last time was actually at Doug's house. Boy, this is sad. The last time I was there, and now it's a little harder to get there. I may have like 20 years ago, but recently, the Uncle Martin space capsule, flying saucer. For some reason, I remember that. Really, we went by to see the latest stuff he had in his garage, which was funny since considering it was Uncle Martin's flying saucer from My Favorite Martian. Yes. Oh, good. Yeah, Doug's been on several times or whatever with me. Hey, Jay-Z. Good to see you again. Doug and his giant bird always crack you up. Yeah, Beaky is something. Okay, another vote for Con. Thank you, Chuck. Hey, Gerhardt, my one German Portale. Some great incentives in the Drexler Kickstarter. Most of this as an add-on once you've chosen one of the initial ones. Check it out. So, yay. Doug getting a lot of love here on TTL. Melanie, good to whoop whoop see you. What is this, my figure? More about the 32nd century. Totally recommend checking out the Last Starship comic. I need to do that. I keep meaning to write about that. There you go. Everybody's getting in on the act. Okay, thanks, Chuck. 9.5 months to SDLV. Yikes. I just want to get to the cruise, okay? Yeah, you would see, but it's the studio. The studio wouldn't look like they're begging for money. A studio's not going to do this. And there may be some laws or regulations or protocols against a corporation doing a Kickstarter. Are there? Not a nonprofit corporation, but a corporation. If not legally, then just appearance-wise. Old school, one of the last old school, ooh, we're too good for this, might be that a studio would see having its own Kickstarter unseemly. Like, what? You can't raise the money you need? If a fan did it and then said, we're going to donate this directly over, I don't know. Then there'd be somebody would come up with some legal mumbo jumbo Jeopardy liability thing that would deep six the whole thing. Instead of finding a way to make it happen, some attorney would come in to show all the ways you can't do it. How does the love of a passion project survive to cut through? There you go. Mona, you think the other groups that chat, such as Trek Files, could meet? Okay, that's why we have now the Trekophiles tonight. Are you thinking of something else? Gerhardt, one idea for quiet times. Contact your local convention, encourage them to invite. Oh, what a great idea, Gerhardt. I'm a little slow on the uptake there. To talk about 60 years of Star Trek. For 60 years, the world's longest convention. Yeah. Okay, we got you straightened out on the Universal Fan Fest. Yeah, but the fact it isn't repeated isn't a good sign. Well, we don't know that it's not repeated. And Star Trek wants to be, I don't know, if the Gorn thing was still happening, maybe. But I think maybe once a year is what they can handle right now, with the bandwidth of the studio support. So we'll see. Oh, Sean, a Moopsie with an audio chip was announced today from Master Replicas. 2 years since the episode. Also, an Exo 6 of Worf was announced for pre-order, but a price tag of about $300 US. And the Moopsie is $40 US. Okay, well, there you go. What? You'll probably start a debate with TOS for life? Who would debate that? I don't. People want to say it's not my favorite. That's fine. But how do you knock the original series? People want to talk about, period-based ageism or sexism attitudes about things that have now not PC, but they avoided so much of that anyway. Wow, Joel. So you paid $100 for that? It keeps I thought those were going to be just the first. That was what was going to be commercially available, and they had some samples for that con. I didn't know that was the end-all, be-all. How ridiculous! Oh, do tell, Sean. Even the Chinese knockoff stuff is hard to come by at the moment. Kozermart doesn't have much to buy anymore. Tried to find a matte TNG comm badge and cannot find one without extortionate U.S. shipping. I'm sorry. That's you-know-who dealing away with the small piece customs fee. That has a specific name. Doesn't everybody watch you on the big screen? You're on my TV currently. Okay. God, you guys, I haven't scared you away. That's amazing. Does my makeup look okay? Do I? Opinion on Khan becoming canon. I think it's straddling the fence. We hear it, but it still won't be canon unless we see it. Okay, Mona. Well, my old point of view still is canon in a vacuum. Until there's something else, then let that stand, especially if it was made by professionals. But that's my feeling about like the novels, even though I don't read the pro novels. Thank you, Memory Beta. If it's there and nobody else has touched it on film, then go with something that was sanctioned by the studio and or created by people with a hand who care about the franchise, whether they're authors or they're writers or artists who are writing a book on the side, whatever that is. Like, go with them next. And that's clearly what, I mean, it's a studio production. It's all but the camera. I'm good for not having camera be included. I can't think of who that era I'd want to be writing it besides a Nick Meyer story through the hands of the polishing hands of Kirsten and David. So I get you. And there's so many visual aspects we don't have that are just moot. All we know and can describe them as they describe it, or, you know, what are the facts of this thing? Yeah. We can see the tape on the holodeck walls. I need to finish putting up my shelves, damn it. I got so far and then I stopped. That'll be my holiday project. Use your TV as a monitor as well. There you go. Oh, Brandon, stop trying to butter me up. But thank you. That's nice. That's kind. No, Christoph. I was going to set a date and then change it, and I'm still waiting to confirm a guest. And believe me, it's bugging the hell out of me. I've just laid low. So I know you always actually listen to what I say and try to keep a schedule. It's just going to be it's just going to be into November. There needs time to promote it. And these days I've had to be distracted with some home front issues and things. And I'm hoping it'll be one of the first 2 Wednesdays of November now. I don't want to get closer to the U.S. Thanksgiving. People get distracted. And then it'll be Black Friday and yada yada. So we will see. Sure can't be the Wednesday of Thanksgiving Eve. So hang on. We'll see how it goes. And I might be doing some juggling after all. But thank you for asking. Got this lovely 10th. It's the 10th anniversary too. That's what pisses me off a little bit. Yeah. Hey, Randy, this is your first time today. Anyway, I know you've been popping up lately. Another Tuesday rolls around. You're still harping on the issue that Strange News should not stop production. The powers that be need to be told it's a big mistake. It's their hottest ticket right now. Preaching to the choir here. I think, again, it's more about the superstructure of old guard leaving, new guard coming in. How much further ahead into the future do they have production happening? It sounds ridiculous, I know, but it's, yeah. Oh, okay. Why was I thinking October 22nd? It's been a while. I obviously need to rewatch it. Back to the Future. Dum, 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 da, 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 dum. Trek Masters quizzes are so much fun. Can't wait to see you on there, Sean. Oh, there we go. Christian, the yes is for something. We'll figure it out. Oh, Trek Masters by Dave Willits of the BQN Network. Aussie guy with the mustache. You were on a pod with him last weekend. Well, it was aired last weekend. Very good. Okay. Okay, guys, I will. Again, global perspective. Thank you very much. Yay, first time. Well, now I'm curious how you found me, Christian. I'm curious about that. Always curious about that. Oh, Trek Masters used to be called Treksperts Quiz. They recently rebranded out of Australia. Didn't want to be confused with Mark's Bunch, maybe. Wow, I've got to watch Tron Ares because of this black and white night and day reaction to it. And watch the final scene. Okay. Oh, you're in the South. The Algarve? Maybe one or two more fans hiding somewhere. Can you send up a flare, Sophia? Can you send up a Trek flare to let people know where you are? Enjoy it. It was all about Cisco. Was this the Trek Masters? Don't think Doug has it in his own house, but I saw some photos he put out of a full-size Viper in someone's garage. Simply amazing work. Yeah. Excuse me, gang. Oh, not an editorial comment. Uh-oh. Rose, you've drank too much tonight. Oh, how can that be? You can't see comments. Okay. We'll take that in stride then. Sean never understood why the likes of Ticonderoga never made a full-scale Inside and Out runabout. Well, give them time. My gosh, he's only been doing that for 8 years or something. And they've secured the shuttle back from Houston, the Galileo, such as it is. So, to me, it's amazing, but it's not really the original, but it's kind of on the bones. But yeah. That bird is old now, isn't she? So glad. Yeah, Doug's had her whole life. Yes. Wait, what? Is anyone watching the Orionid Meteor Sky Show? Couldn't see any shooting stars last night. Might try again tonight. I know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh. Subscribed after I saw a video with you guest hosting on Trexploration. Oh. Very nice. Wow. So you were a regular viewer of Trexploration, or you stumbled into that one accidentally too? But anyway, there we go. Glad to have you aboard, Christian. Check out everything at Trekland. Yes, awesome. I think you're our first Danish viewer. Oh, on Discord. But you've been out of touch, so I'm probably mistaken. Okay. And now I've forgotten we were talking about the live something. Now what? Sean, Armin told a story on Delta Flyers of the lawyers telling them to treat phasers as loaded weapons and to hand on and off to armorers between takes. Well, if it was a hero phaser that had internal lighting and control circuits, it was maybe as expensive when they have one or two, as expensive as an actual weapon. It wasn't going to hurt anybody unless it fell on their foot or something. Hey, Rose, thank you too for asking. Christoph I don't have a date yet. I meant to set a date and then change it when we confirm the guest. It's going to have to be one of the first 2 weekends in November now. I'm sorry, one of the first 2 Wednesdays in November, unless I have to bump it to a Thursday or something. Yes, TOS looks like it was made in the 60s. Why? It was made in the 60s. And looks so much cooler than all the other crap made in the 60s. You remember asking everybody and their brother to get you one when they went to New York Comic-Con, but no one did. Oh, I'm sorry. Between Marina and Anne-Marie, they were able to hook me up. But apparently, by the second and third days, they were giving them. I mean, like, there was a huge line the first day. Sadly, I think this is a symbol. This is a barometer for Prodigy. After the first day or so, they were standing there begging people to take one as they walked by. I know. Insane in membrane. Nope, we are not doing Steamboo. Speaking of big heads on TV, remember when Shatner was on Third Rock as the big giant head? Yep. So against type. I saw what you did there. Hey, Sean, that's a really good reminder that you need to go back and rewatch Third Rock sometime. Well, if you have some spare time, my figure. Well, you can keep hunting, but there won't be any. So, gang, I thank you for your interest. Thank you so much. It's a fun time. I actually maybe pick up 1 or 2 Portale members but we'll announce it when we announce it. Of all the years for the 10th anniversary to be doing this. But I hope I can get who I'm trying to get. And if not, we'll do our backup. And I hate to say a backup. I'll do the next name on my list. Hey, Philip, always good to see you. Yes, I expect you to say something like this. You try to Star Trek by writing fan fiction nobody will ever see until they do. Can't you get a Mimeo and do your own zine? Look at me hand cranking the Mimeo page there. You would definitely hang out with me over going shopping on Black Friday. Oh, well, I mean, I just have a special up. A Trekland or a Trex tour, something, a special something for Black Friday. Truly understand how to. Well, if you're trying to secure your apex guest of the year, and you have other people in the way, well, and actually work in the way. So you love the fact that we have Khan and the novels, and you like the canon of Act. Yeah, Mona, that's one of my old phrases I used to use. And instead of in fandom, you don't copyright and trademark things; you just make it a hashtag. So that's what the hashtag bag back there is all about. Maybe one of these days on a slow time, I should do a hashtag stack review. I did that years ago during a slow time. Oh, so October 22nd is Christopher Lloyd's birthday. I had the distinct pleasure this year at San Francisco, the second San Francisco creation, of having a half hour with Chris Lloyd. And we mentioned the others, but we just totally focused on Star Trek 3 and Kruge. And it was a lot of fun. Hey, Gerhardt, you much fear that Strange New has cooled off significantly? Yeah. People are now now you got to prove it to us again. What have you done for us lately? So we'll see. And maybe, it's interesting to hear the showrunners all talk about it. It's like, well, everybody acts like it was preordained. Like, why didn't you think this way last year? Yeah. Oh, Philip, you're going to go here, huh? Really think there's a few canons of Star Trek. Novelverse, Shatnerverse. Well, that's true. Kelvin timeline. Yeah, well, the Kelvin timeline universe has its own internal, and the Prime. No. Just don't. I think people have a problem of confusing other alternates with Prime. That's where people are, or whatever. But yeah, obviously, the Mirror universe has its own timeline and whatever. Okay. Prime, Kelvin, Novelverse, and Shatnerverse. Well, again, I would say the Mirror universe has its own. Oh, Jay-Z, you're behind, and that's why you haven't chimed in. Okay, it's fine. Sophia, yeah, let's get out and license that. Put that on some Etsy Christmas list for Trek, huh? Your Star Trek flair. Find a fan whenever you need one. Or an app that you can put on, like Find My Truck Fan. Find my iPhone, find my iPad, find my truck fan. There you go. Why couldn't there be a Vegas-style con in San Francisco for Trek at Starfleet HQ? Well, Creation did a foothold twice. The first one was big because it was the first regional con they'd done in 10 or 15 years. The second one was smaller because they'd begun the other regionals. But San Francisco's expensive unless you get into the suburbs. This was out by the airport, which is way south. So, but I hear you. Yes, there you go. Boom. This is not a productive way to chat? How do you mean, Mona? Willie, hey. Thank you, Christian. You watch Trexploration a lot, and Jesse Gender and Steve Shives in more I Like You show, Larry. Oh, and Jesse Gender and Steve Shives and more. You Like You show. I'm after this going to watch the Doug Drexler on my channel. Cool. Well, I know there's several things I do. So this is my live show. Then when there's fresh Trek, it's on my YouTube channel, is where most everything winds up. So this is archived there. And then Dr. Trek and Cadet Alice Talk Prodigy is there. The first season, I haven't posted the second season yet because I want to have more in the can. And I can only get a couple at a time every month or 2 or 3. So it's a slow going. But yeah. And the Trek Files is Roddenberry. That's its own thing too. So yeah, you can find Doug for the old one. But then also we had him on the Trek Files too. Uh-oh. Yes, they were going to pause at least a year with the San Francisco. So I don't know what 2027 would bring. And those were always in late January, February-ish in through there. Oh, okay, Jay-Z. You don't feel like it is a quiet time. We're between shows and the 60th. The hype is real. That's why I said it was quieter. But we have 2 active shows like Con and more merchandise than ever. The comics are winning awards. All true. All true. Right or wrong, and I mean wrong, I mean unfortunate. Comics and the audio drama and even Scouts, they're not commanding, a main stage spotlight attention level. And maybe they should. The Con should for real. We're having more merchandise than ever. That's been a very low bar, but yay, the Lego victory for a Star Trek license. And it's not like the studio is holding back. They've wanted a Lego for ages because it's the ultimate of that brand, that toy niche, right? It's the number one. So yay that some of these things are breaking through. We'll see what the last iteration of shows from Discovery helps with that appearance. We'll see. We'll see. But there you go. You're feeling upbeat. Okay. Joel, you're going to Creation Chicago. What? Your drink tally. Oh, tonight, 4 pints of lager, 2 double Baileys, and you've got a double Baileys to help you sleep. Okay, Rose. Good deal there. Oh, cool, Mona. Thank you. Yes, the store that I never talk about, my TeePublic store. Good for you. Didn't you wear it at Indy? You wore something of mine at Starbase Indy? It's been a while. Coming up on a year, I guess. Oh, that's right. We did video it and put it out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yes. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. We only had 30 minutes, and I needed to be on Christopher's speed, and set him up to do well. But he was putting himself out there, and when we got into it, you could see that that sense of humor. Used to have the Grand Slam Sci-Fi Summit, in Pasadena. It felt like the only local to LA Sci-Fi Con for a while there. Yeah, poor LA Comic-Con it's because LA is so big and people are so cynical and jaded and they can do things. And going to San Diego is more fun for comic. It's really hard to do something fanish in LA, even though you've got all the resources and the creatives and the population here. It's a blasé thing in LA unless you really have something special going for it. Otherwise, people just have events, screenings, and panels after screenings in theaters. Like, it's at the Chinese or it's at the Egyptian or it's whatever. Yes. Well, there you go. That's people that talk about, this thing in the mirror universe isn't canon. Well, it's in the mirror universe canon. It's kind of on the definition. Yes. And we saw a lot of those infinite universes thanks to Lower Decks, which I still wonder if anyone's going to pick up that multiverse anomaly wheel and run with it. Staffed and it's a structure and all like that. What now? You spotlight like for Batman to find Trek fans. Oh, okay. Just picked up the Hallmark Enterprise G. Well, good. You can write a review there or whatever. Rose, so Larry will open house be in about 24 hours and 26. Nope. It will be not anytime soon. It won't be until November now, Rose. Sorry about that. I don't like it dragging along, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, we've been chatting, but you don't explain, so that's why it says, oh, okay. What are you saying, Joel? They had that sit-down Trek video game at Star Trek San Francisco that Hallmark has an ornament of. Vector graphic fun. Yes. Rose, that's my plan as of now. This is fluid. I hate that it's that fluid. This is what happens some years. When you try to reach for something, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes having someone who's not actively working is obviously easier than someone who's actively working. Sean, you have an idea that we bring back Lower Decks? Well, I'll drink to that, as they used to say on Laugh In, and have them get Lost sliding universes. Let Jerry O'Connell take the helm of the show. This is going to be huge. Yeah, sliding doors, right? Mm-hmm. Naveen? Yes. Excellent for radio work. Yeah. Hey, Hoodie plays. It has been a while. I'm good. By the way, con is for me, not Star Trek. Odor canon is boring. Okay. Yes, Ollie. Good deal. Yes, I think we're all agreeing on this. Yes. Okay, Mona, thank you. Oh, it was 2 years ago. You had the hashtag shirt. Thank you. Gang, it's all available at my Patreon store at the Trekland shop, I think. I also like the way you think, Christoph. Make FedCon. It's been 2018, I think. Admiral Ross sat 2 down from me. And Barry's been passed for several years now. Yep. Jay-Z, you did a slow rewatch of Picard, like you put it at 50% speed, just because you enjoyed it so much you didn't want it to end? I'm kidding. Our interview, would you think in 26? Oh, yes, Hoodie. I'm so sorry. Mona's been wanting me to answer questions for an interview. And yes, sorry about that. Yes, we do it. Definitely do it. Reach out to me again, email or one of the messages. Do you do Instagram? Can you slide into my DMs on Instagram? Okay, Philip, you might try to do your own personal. Is it Leavenworth or Leavenworth? It's Leavenworth, right? Like the town. Your own personal Leavenverse Star Trek. That way you can do whatever you want. Well, I think that's what everybody does in their head anyway. But sure, write it down. Oh, canon is boring. Okay. Hey, everybody. Yes, a slow rewatch. Now, am I at the end of the chat or is it going to explode here? Is it going to explode in a fireball? I think so. Well, you know what? We'll see what happens in a year or so. We will see what happens in a year or so. It's been a while. Ha ha ha. Slow rewatch of motion picture. Yeah. Can't say that anymore. It's been sped up. It's been fixed. Okay. Good deal. Thank you, Christoph. Into the chat. Leavenverse sounds like Leavenwurst. Yeah. Or liver sausage. No thanks. Sorry, Sean. Sorry. End of line. Just worried that when Star Trek comes to an end, what do I watch or listen to? Well, it'll never go away as long as we keep it in our hearts. It'll never truly die. And as long as we keep it in our hearts and buy physical media. Oh, Philip, those crazy Germans. Who can explain it? And thank you, Christoph. Thank you, Christoph. Yeah, gang. Listen, thanks everybody. I think that's going to do it. It's a quiet time. It's a quiet week, and yet you all were still here. So thanks for doing that, and thanks for considering and thanking all of my TTLers and live wires. It's our Patreon folk, and if you want to jump in and help us out and be a supporter, that would be awesome. There you go. It's patreon.com/Trekland Live. And once again, this week, the Trek Files. It's a voice you've not heard, and you should jump because I'm glad we got him when we got him. Cash Edwards, a first season, not even first season, before anybody in the outside world saw the pilot in the late spring of 1987, pitching stories. One of them bought, none of them ever produced, but very much working with Maury Hurley and Bob Lewin. And Herb Wright. And yes, he has some Leonard Maishlish stories, the Trek Files. And you want to catch our Patreon for Roddenberry's mission log to get to the Discord. If you're a Trekophile, spelled with an F, if you enjoy the Trek Files, we have a show now that's a live talk, cameras, everything, just for the Trek Files at 4 p.m. every other Monday. But it's $1 a month to join the Roddenberry mission log Patreon to get into the Discord, and you've got all the other shows. All the other Roddenberry podcasts have a community, as well as some that aren't podcasts, but they have a community too. A lot of people, different fan, not just Trek. It's well beyond that. A lot of stuff. In the middle of all this, you can come talk Trek Files with me live on camera or not. You could keep the camera off every other Monday at 4 p.m. just to say. And that is separate from my Patreon. Although in the very beginning, we had a month notice, and if everyone who was in my Patreon got a free subscription to the Roddenberry if you were in at that time or joined real quick. So yay for all of my original Patreoners who did that. Otherwise, it's $1 a month. Come over and check it out, would you please? And of course, it's anytime is a great time for a Trekland Trek. Get in touch with me. Let me know how we can do your customized away mission. Where you want to go, we'll make it work. We'll handle the LA craziness and make it an awesome, awesome day for you, one that you'll remember forever. And if you need more than that, and you're not standing on the ceiling, there you go. The big tour is back next year, July 30th, August 3rd, the week before Vegas. 60th anniversary for all of Star Trek. The LA, #LA to Vegas, with those guest stars. Yeah, I'm talking Armin, Tim Russ, Sirach, Bobby Clark, and more to be announced. Otherwise, it's at Larry Nemechek at TwitterX and Blue Sky, Larry's Trekland. It's the Facebook, it's the Instagram, it's most of all the YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, please. And hey, if you just want to be with us, it's portal47.net. And I think that didn't recharge. I think we are, come on, gang. Let's just get out of here. We're going to be fine. Where is how about we come back to, boom, there we go. And yay. We're going to get out of here, gang. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget the Trek Files. Don't forget the different tours you can do. Thanks to everybody who's a Patreon. And most of all, please, everybody, stay healthy. Do all the things. Stay awoke. Check your sources. And, Trek well, everybody.